Life often feels like a journey down a sunlit path, each step a testament to your growth and the challenges you've overcome. The road ahead is filled with promise, but sometimes, just as you feel close to your destination, a sudden interruption pulls you off course. The interruption may come from those closest to you, family, friends, or even strangers, and while their intentions may be good, they bring with them demands that can slowly steal what's most precious to you: your time, energy, and peace of mind. Have you ever paused to ask yourself whether you are carrying burdens that were never meant to be yours? Are you perhaps so caught up in the roles you play for others that you forget the importance of caring for your own well-being? Picture this. You're a lifeboat, tirelessly keeping others afloat while your own vessel is quietly sinking. If this resonates with you, then this message is for you. In this video, we will discuss 5 critical things you must protect from others. Things that not only deplete your physical strength, but also slowly drain the essence of who you are. These things are not just mundane tasks or responsibilities. They are the very core of your soul's energy. Things that, once given away, leave you feeling depleted and disconnected. It's easy to fall into the trap of feeling obligated to meet the needs of those around us, but what happens when we give too much and lose ourselves in the process? The truth is, you are not meant to live your life solely to please others. This is your journey, your time, and your peace that you've worked tirelessly to build. Now is the moment to remember why you started down your path in the first place: to live freely, with joy and fulfillment. Let this video be a reminder to reclaim what is yours. The insights you'll hear today could be just the wake-up call you need to take back control of your life and soul. Stay with us, and together we'll discover how to protect the things that matter most, starting with the ones that fuel your inner peace. 1. Never take on responsibilities that aren't yours. Have you ever agreed to something and later asked yourself, why did I say yes? Chances are you found yourself in this position more often than you'd like to admit. It usually starts innocently enough: a small favor, a temporary task, or an urgent request that feels impossible to turn down. But before you know it, these seemingly insignificant obligations pile up, and what was once a simple favor becomes an overwhelming burden. You go from being someone who offers support to the person who is now expected to carry the weight of everything. The longer this continues, the more challenging it becomes to let go. Picture this. No matter how strong a rope is, if it's stretched too tightly for too long, it will eventually snap. That rope represents you, your strength, your energy, your time. People place their burdens on your shoulders, then vanish, expecting you to handle everything. Why? Because you're always there, always willing to help, and perhaps always fearful that saying no will make you seem selfish. But here's the hard truth. Helping others shouldn't come at the cost of your own well-being. You're not a bottomless bank that others can take from without ever repaying. You're not a caretaker bound to endlessly serve others as if it's your sole purpose. And you're certainly not a doctor responsible for healing the wounds of everyone around you while neglecting your own. When you do find the courage to say no, you may face criticism or guilt tripping. People might make you feel as if you're being selfish or uncaring, but ask yourself, who's holding them accountable for putting you in this position in the first place? The reality is, kindness and generosity should never be mistaken for self-sacrifice. If you continue to take on responsibilities that aren't yours, you're not only draining your energy and time, you're chipping away at the peace and harmony within your soul. Saying no isn't an act of selfishness. It's a necessary step to preserve your own mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being. It's an act of self-love and care, one that ensures you're not left with nothing while everyone else takes what they need. Reclaim your boundaries and remember, you deserve to protect your peace. 2. Don't let others take your money and financial stability. Imagine waking up to a calm and peaceful morning. You're enjoying your coffee, looking out at the world with a sense of ease and contentment. Everything feels right until your phone rings. It's a familiar voice, a family member or an old friend, but instead of catching up, they bring a request. Money. You may think, It's just this once, no big deal. But here's the hard truth. Requests like these rarely stop at one time. The money you give doesn't just disappear from your wallet. It takes with it far more than just your cash. It erodes your peace of mind, trust, and sometimes even the foundation of your relationship. Why? Because people often assume you're a constant source of support, always ready to help without fully considering the sacrifices you've made to earn that money. Too often, they don't even think about repaying you. Let me remind you. You are not a bank. You are not a safety net for others to fall back on whenever they need help. Most importantly, you don't owe anyone the price of your own financial security. After all the challenges and hardships you face, this is your time, the time to enjoy the rewards of your hard work and build a future for yourself. But if you continue to give without boundaries, you risk losing that opportunity. Now, take a moment to think. If you were in urgent need of money tomorrow, for an emergency health issue or any personal crisis, who would step up to support you? If you're constantly stretched thin for others, who will be there to help you when the tables turn? Don't let guilt be the driving force behind compromising your own financial stability. It's essential to learn how to say no, especially when you know the money will either be misused or never returned. Helping others is a beautiful thing, but not when it comes at the cost of harming your own future. Saying no isn't selfish. It's necessary self-preservation. It's how you protect your own safety, happiness, and financial security. Money is a tool, a resource meant to build your joy, peace, and well-being, not to fill someone else's endless void. So take control of your financial life, set healthy boundaries, and remember, your stability is yours to protect. 3. Don't let yourself be dragged into family conflicts. For many, family represents the safest and most supportive haven, a place where you can find love, comfort, and understanding. But what happens when that haven becomes the source of endless conflict? The most damaging thing they can do is pull you into the heart of it. Family disputes, no matter how well-intentioned, can quickly erode your peace if you allow yourself to be dragged in. Imagine a serene afternoon when suddenly your phone rings. A familiar voice on the other end says, "Mom, Dad, brother, sister is doing something wrong and you need to step in." Or worse yet, they ask you to take sides in a situation that has absolutely nothing to do with you. You may feel an overwhelming sense of duty to help, driven by love and a desire to protect your family, but be cautious. Once you involve yourself, you won't just lose your peace, you'll become entangled in a vicious cycle of ongoing conflict. They may ask you to play the role of referee, but have you ever stopped to think about what happens to the referee in any conflict? More often than not, the referee ends up criticized by both sides. It's an unspoken truth. Whether the issues at hand are disputes over inheritance, disagreements stemming from different values or lifestyles, or even small petty misunderstandings, the cost of your involvement is always your peace, and that is the one thing you should protect above all else. Don't let others make you the focal point of a storm you never asked for. When the storm finally passes, the person who is left most deeply scarred will often be you, having absorbed all the stress and negativity. It's crucial to set boundaries and, when necessary, refuse to get involved, no matter how much pressure you feel from loved ones. You don't need to be the mediator for every family argument. Everyone is responsible for their own actions and decisions. If they can't resolve their issues without your intervention, that's something they need to handle on their own. Ask yourself, are you willing to give up the peace you've worked so hard to build for a role you never wanted? Don't allow these conflicts to rob you of your time, energy, or emotional well-being. Save your resources for the things that bring you joy, for moments of tranquility, and for nurturing the inner peace you've earned. Family is important, but your peace comes first. 4. Don't change yourself just to please others. Have you ever been told, "Mom, you need to be more modern," or "Dad, stop being so old-fashioned," or even, "Why don't you change to fit in with the times?" While these words might sound harmless on the surface, they often carry an underlying demand. Change to meet my expectations. Change in itself isn't inherently bad. It can be a tool for growth and adaptation. However, when that change is solely for the sake of pleasing others, you risk losing the most precious thing you have: yourself. The values, habits, and beliefs you've cultivated over the years aren't outdated. They are the culmination of your life's experiences, the lessons you've learned, the wisdom you've gained, and the person you've become. These qualities are not something to be ashamed of or discarded simply because others may think they don't fit with today's standards. Yet, far too often people around us try to push us into their mold, telling us that our way of living is wrong or out of touch. But pause and ask yourself, who has the right to judge the way you live? When you alter who you are to please others, it's not just your comfort that's compromised, it's your freedom. The freedom to be true to yourself, to live authentically and confidently, is the foundation of inner peace. Without it, you're merely living a version of life that isn't truly yours. That is the tragedy of changing just to please others. You lose the very essence of who you are in the process. Remember this: you don't need to change yourself to gain approval or to fit into someone else's vision of who you should be. Staying true to your values, your beliefs, and your identity isn't stubbornness. It's a demonstration of self-respect and integrity. The people who truly care for you will accept and love you for exactly who you are, not for the version they wish you could become. Never trade your peace of mind, your pride, or your authenticity just to please others. This life is yours, and you have the undeniable right to live it according to what feels right for you. You are enough, just as you are. 5. Don't put others' happiness above your own. Take a moment to reflect. How many times have you set aside your own desires and happiness to make others happy? How often have you sacrificed what you truly love or want just to meet the expectations of family, friends, or society? You've probably heard the familiar words, "If you don't do this, I'll be so disappointed," or "Mom, I need your help. I'll be so sad if you don't." These words may seem harmless, but over time they can quietly suffocate your freedom and joy. They place a weight on your shoulders, demanding that you put others' happiness before your own, and that weight grows heavier with every sacrifice. Here's the truth: happiness isn't something you can endlessly give away without consequences. If you continuously put everyone else's needs before your own, you will eventually find yourself depleted, emotionally and physically drained. Others may become accustomed to taking from you without ever considering your well-being, forgetting that you too deserve love, care, and happiness. You're not meant to be a supporting character in someone else's story, always there to light their path while leaving your own in the dark. Now ask yourself, if you don't prioritize your own happiness, who will? The answer is simple: no one. That's why it's so important to learn how to say no, not out of selfishness, but out of love for yourself. When you allow others to exploit your kindness and continually sacrifice your happiness for their benefit, you're not showing love. You're allowing yourself to be exploited. This life, whether long or short, is yours to live. You deserve to spend it doing what brings you joy, surrounding yourself with people who truly care about you, and taking the time to care for yourself, just as you've always cared for others. Your peace is priceless. If someone asks you to give up your happiness, your serenity, or your sense of self, it's time to recognize that they are not offering love. They are asking for a sacrifice that doesn't serve you. Remember this: your happiness matters. It's just as important as anyone else's. If you've ever been in a situation where you've given more than you've received, this is your reminder to reclaim your peace. Thank you for staying with me until the end of this video. I want you to always remember that you deserve happiness, freedom, and the right to be yourself. If these words resonate with you, leave a comment and share your story. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe so we can continue exploring the meaningful aspects of life together.